What's up, everybody? Jared here with carbuzz.com, and I have been flown out to New Mexico to drive a new Lexus product. This is the 2022 Lexus LX 600. This is a very important product for Lexus because it's the first LX that's all new since 2007 when George W. Bush was still the president. Now we have a full in-depth review of this vehicle coming under embargo next week, January 21st at 8 a.m. Friday, so be sure to subscribe, ring the notification bell to be alerted when that goes live. But in this video, I'm going to give you a deep dive walk around of the LX 600. No driving impressions just yet, but we're going to get a really good look about what's new on this new LX. So come a little closer with me, and I'm going to show you the LX that we've picked out here is the new F Sport model, which is why we have this black mesh grille. Looks more aggressive than what you're going to get in the standard LX. This is the first time you've ever been able to get an LX with the F Sport package, which is handling and visual improvements as well. We've got these really new slick L-shaped headlights. I think they look really good. I think the big grille is really growing on me as other SUVs like the Jeep Wagoneer and Grand Wagoneer and Cadillac Escalade all have big grills. The spindle grille isn't as crazy as it used to be. Moving down the side, the F Sport has these large 22-inch dark finish wheels. Now you can get as small as 18s up to 22s depending on which trim level of LX you get. There's 5 trim levels. Trying to remember all of them is a little bit hard. I think there's premium, luxury, ultra luxury, there's the F Sport, and I think I'm missing one in there, but you can tell the F Sport from those wheels, that grille, and of course you get little F Sport badges here on the fenders as well. Mostly visual cues. This isn't like a sports car by any track. This is the biggest, most burly Lexus SUV you can get. Now let's come around back here where the rear end is a lot different than the previous generation LX. First of all, we have this taillight that goes all the way across the body now. You see LX 600. The outgoing model was called the 570. Now it's 600. We also have, instead of the Lexus L, we have Lexus spelled out across here. That's something new that they started with the NX. So, you know, we see it here on the LX. I'm going to go ahead and open up the tailgate here. No more clamshell, the split folding tailgate like you used to get on the LX 570. I think Lexus said that they really just did that for simplicity, no other reason than that. I kind of miss having the bench that you could kind of sit down on, but you do have a nice area right here where you can kind of sit comfortably. Now the other thing you'll notice that's quite different from the LX 570 is you don't have those seats that fold up to the sides anymore, which took up a lot of space. Instead, you get these 2 power seats that fold flat into the trunk. I'm going to go ahead and get out of your way here so you can see those operating. So you just push the button. You do have to hold on to them to let them go up. Now we're going to see how much storage space is behind those rear seats. Not much. You're not going to be able to fit too much behind here. So if you're doing a lot of carrying of 7 people and you need a lot of storage space behind it, you might want to go for something like the Jeep Grand Wagoneer or the Cadillac Escalade, which comes in that extended ESV length. As you can see, the space behind here is not a lot, even with this new redesigned rear seat. So let's go ahead and hop into the front seat. I will meet you there. Let's go ahead and take a walk. All right, so we've got the F Sport trim, which is why we have this really cool black and red two-tone. You can see we've got F Sport engraved here on the seat. There are other options that you can get on the LX here. This is your sportiest option, but you can get normal tans and plain black leathers. This is definitely the most outrageous option you can get. Let's go ahead and step on in and start it up. We've got push button start located up here. We've got this new sort of perforated steering wheel. This is a little bit new for Lexus. I'm going to go ahead and give you a close-up look at that right here. Let's go. So this is the perforated that you get here on the F Sport model. You also get a digital gauge cluster. That's all new. The old LX had very old school gauges, so that is something new here on this LX 600 model. We've got 2 screens. We've got an upper screen that's 12.3 inches. It's the newest Lexus software that we first saw in the NX. It works really well. We've got wireless CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, which is great. Ties to 10 speakers base or on the higher trim levels, or optionally on some of the lower trim levels, you can get a 25 speaker Mark Levinson audio system. And this screen is actually a little bit smaller than what you get on the NX, which is like 14 inches, but that's because we have this additional 7-inch screen right here. Now this only really does two things. You can have it show your off-road controls, so it'll show you your braking, your accelerator, your G meter, stuff like that. That's useful for off-roading, or you can switch it so that it's climate control. Lexus tells me that their customers in the Middle East really wanted to be able to see all of that stuff at all times, not have it be on the touchscreen, which is why we have this dual screen design. But don't worry, you don't actually have to use this screen that often, because Lexus did put plenty of physical controls down here, which is nice. You can see we have our mode selector here, so we can switch from a bunch of different drive modes. We've got sport, we've got comfort, eco, and then if I change this button right here from drive mode to MTS, that's all of our off-road settings. So you can have it set to dirt, sand, mud, deep snow, what have you. There's a bunch of different modes for that. We also have hill descent control, crawl control. All of that comes standard. You have a 4-wheel high and a 4-wheel low range as well. This is a very good vehicle for off-roading. Now here in the center console, we have a wireless charger here. We've got our diff locks. We've got traction control. This is where your height suspension would be if you have it equipped. You can actually lower this car by 2 inches or raise it up by about 4 inches, which is nice. Heated steering wheel, heated and ventilated seats. I think only the base model LX just gets heated seats. Every trim up from that has ventilated seats as well. We've also got USB, USB-C. I love this metal trim that we get here on the F Sport. Other grades will get wood trim, which is quite nice. And I wanted to show you this center armrest here. It opens up one way, and then you can open it up the same way from the passenger side, which is quite cool. You can also get a refrigerator in there, which is quite useful. We just have a normal sunroof, no panoramic roof optioned, unfortunately, on the LX, but you can get a digital rear view mirror, which is quite cool. So now let's go ahead and check out those rear seats. There are actually a couple of options that you can get on the rear seats. So as you already saw, we do have the 3rd row option here. So here are the 3 options available. You can get this as a 5-seater. So that's just going to be the front seat and these back seats as well with no 3rd row. That's available on the base LX. All of the trims up from that are going to have the 7 seats, as you saw, but the top ultra luxury trim has only 4 seats. So instead of this bench that you get back here, you get these really cool captain's chairs. One of them has like a recliner, and there's like a center console in the middle. It's really cool, but Lexus says only about 10% of buyers are going to go for that 5-seat model or the 4-seat. Most people are going to get their LX with 7 seats, which is why I wanted to show you this one here. Now, the issue with the old LX was it's a body-on-frame vehicle, so it had a very high floor, and I feel like I didn't have a lot of leg or headroom in it for such an enormous vehicle. Now, this one isn't great either. You still can't slide or do much. You can recline these seats pretty far back, but as you can see, the driver's seat is pushed pretty far back. That's just because it has that memory function. If I go ahead and sit on this side, you'll see I have a good amount of legroom, not quite as much as you get in a Cadillac Escalade or a Jeep Wagoneer. So just something to consider. I do have plenty of climate controls here. I have heated and ventilated seat controls. Let's go ahead and zoom in. I'm going to slide over so that you can take a better look at that. You've got heated and ventilated seat controls, all of your air vents as well. And as I mentioned, that ultra luxury trim has like a lot more that you can get with this whole sort of center console here. It's got a touch screen. It's a very cool thing as well. And one other thing I wanted to note, not only does that center armrest open side to side, but you can also access it here from the rear with this button as well. So if you have some snacks in there, or if you get the refrigerator option, your kids want to grab a drink really quick, they can do so very easily. We do have sunshades here as well on the doors, which is on a lot of the upper trim levels of the LX. And the one thing I wanted to mention that they did keep here that we're probably going to have to show on the other side, or I'm going to have to slide this seat forward to do, is how you fold down those second rows. So it's a little bit of an inconvenience. As you can see, it's probably not going to want to do it unless this seat is all the way forward, but I am going to show it to you. This is not great if you access the 3rd row very frequently. You have to pull this tab and it's going to drop down, and then it's going to flip up like so. Now I kind of have to do a little bit of climbing to get into that 3rd row. And if you do have a car seat here, that's not going to work. You're going to have to take the car seat out. Obviously, the person in the car seat would be crushed. But Lexus tells me they did focus a lot more on cargo space or passenger space than cargo space. My knees are pretty in my chest right here, as you can see. The load floor is still rather high, but I still think that this back seat is better than it was in the old Lexus LX. We do have plenty of cup holders back here. I count 4 total, and we do have USBs on each side as well, so that is quite nice. And I believe that you can fold down these rear seats from the second row as well with electronic controls. So it's better than the old LX, but if you want maximum passenger space, you're better with the American options from Jeep and Cadillac. And we're gonna wrap up by taking a look under the hood. So I'll meet you there. I'm gonna go ahead and pop the hood for you, because that is a big story about the LX that, again, we have our other video coming out next week, so be sure to be on the lookout for that. I can't tell you how the LX drives, and other than driving it up here, haven't really driven it anyway, so not going to talk about it in this video, but I do want to show you this new engine. So the old LX 570 had a 5.7 liter V8 that dated back till like 2007. It was a super old engine, very thirsty. This new LX 600 has a 3.5 liter twin turbo V6. It's pretty similar to the one that you get in the LS 500 and the new Toyota Tundra. I loved it in the Tundra. Can't comment on how it is in here just yet, but mated to a 10-speed automatic, I expect it to be smooth as butter. And that comes with a lot of other improvements as well. Fuel economy is up significantly in this new LX 600, as is towing. You can now tow 8,000 pounds in the LX 600 compared to the LX 570. That's mostly due not to the engine, but to the fact that they no longer weld the tow hitch on. It's now integrated into the frame. We really hope you've enjoyed this walk around of the 2022 Lexus LX 600. If you want more information on this car, including pricing and our full driving impression, again, that video is coming, or you can check out carbuzz.com for my full written review. I'll see you guys next time.